Assalamu alaikum dear aspirants, you welcome to my mentor YouTube channel. Hope you are all fine. Today in this video I'll be discussing the SI syllabus, especially economics section. Some aspirants were little bit doubtful, sir, what shall be the areas where we should focus in economics section, because they have given just one line: Indian economy, poverty, sustainable development. Will questions only come from these given topics, or something else is to be prepared if you want to qualify SI examination? See dears, what are the key areas that you must focus if you want to qualify this examination, if you want to get a very good score in every section of the syllabus. Syllabus is very huge. They have given just one line, but question can be framed from anywhere. For economic section, you should do one thing. For Indian economy part, do read Indian economic development if you have enough time. That is a book on Indian economy, 11th class book. And 12th class macroeconomics is very, very important. So once we say macroeconomics, what are the key areas of macroeconomics from which questions are usually made for competitive exams like SI, JKP SI, prelims, IES prelims? What are those areas of macroeconomics? Firstly, you need to know basics about economics. What's an economy, primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector? You will get them from Indian economic development. You need to know a little bit about what's demand, what are different types of demand, what's elasticity of demand, how do we measure demand, what are 5 types of elasticity of demand, what are the methods of measuring elasticity of demand, percentage method, point method. Have a little bit knowledge about them as well. What's production possibility curve, how production possibility curve of an economy shifts rightwards, leftwards, along the axis. Do have a little bit knowledge about them. What's opportunity cost, what's law of diminishing marginal utility? The more we consume, lesser we feel to have more of it. What's the funda behind that? So do read that law as well. So these are basics about microeconomics. You can cover them if you follow any good teacher, or if you have any good resource for your economics section, it will be covered there as well. Then the very important unit that every aspirant who wants to prepare for SI wholeheartedly is national income unit. That's not mentioned in your syllabus, but questions do come from national income. So you need to know what's the national income of our country, what are the differences between gross domestic product, gross national product, gross domestic product at market price, gross national product at factor cost, market price, factor cost. So what's the relation between them? Indirect taxes, where to deduct indirect taxes, where to add subsidies, what's personal income, what's personal disposable income, what are the 8 aggregates of national income, 8 aggregates, what are the different methods of measuring national income, like expenditure method, income method, value added method. What are the differences between these methods? What are the exceptions which we don't include in national income? What is double counting? All these things you should have little bit knowledge about them. Questions do come from there. Different committees related to it. So national income is a very important unit. Second thing that you must focus is the unit of inflation. Inflation is a very, very hot topic for any competitive examination. So always have good knowledge about inflation. What's inflation? How does inflation occur in a country? What are the causes of inflation? What are the impacts of inflation for the economy? What are the different types of inflation, like running inflation, walking inflation, creeping inflation, galloping inflation, hyperinflation? You should have knowledge about them. What is demand pull inflation? What's cost push inflation? What are the different terms related to inflation, like what is disinflation, what is skewflation, what is stagflation? Stagflation is a very, very important term. Questions usually are asked on stagflation. What's stagflation? Unemployment, economic growth, all that stuff. What's the reflation? So what's consumer price index, what's wholesale price index, the different indexes to measure inflation in the country. You should have knowledge about them as well. What's base year? How do we measure the inflation in the country? What is the importance of base year while measuring inflation of the country? So these are important areas where you should focus when you are preparing. These things I am discussing for non-economic students who have done BTech, who have been BSc students. Most of the time we don't know what shall we read. So these areas you should focus, my dears. Sam's case, another very important. Once you do inflation, after inflation, do read monetary policy. Monetary policy framed by Reserve Bank of India. That's a very important tool to curtail inflation in the country. What are the different tools of monetary policy, quantitative tools of monetary policy, qualitative tools of monetary policy like bank rate, CRR, SLR, repo rate, reverse repo rate, open market operation. Do have knowledge about them. How much is our bank rate currently? How much is our repo rate currently? What are the differences between bank rate and repo rate? Qualitative tools, what is margin requirement, what is direct action, all those things you need to cover in your monetary policy. How is monetary policy being framed? After every 2 months, there are certain changes in monetary policy. You should have knowledge about them. So once you cover your inflation unit, follow it with monetary policy. How we can control inflation through monetary policy, then you will understand it better. Sam's case, my dears, another important unit of economics you should focus, that is taxation unit. You need to know about taxation, what are direct taxes, what are indirect taxes, what is impact of taxation, what is incidence of taxation. So different examples of indirect taxation, different examples of direct taxation, goods and services tax, the loopholes which were earlier in indirect taxes, those have been covered under goods and services tax. Have good knowledge about taxation as well. That's very important. So once you cover your taxation unit, follow it with fiscal policy of the country. One is monetary policy, another is fiscal policy. So fiscal policy is framed by Government of India, Ministry of Finance. So you need to know difference between monetary policy and fiscal policy related to Reserve Bank of India, monetary policy, fiscal policy related to Government of India, Finance Ministry. So what are the tools of fiscal policy like government expenditure, like taxation, like deficit financing? How do we control inflation in the country through government expenditure, by increasing it, by decreasing it? How do we fight deflation in the country? How do we fight recession, depression in the country? All this stuff will be covered under monetary and fiscal policy. So these are the areas where you should focus, my dears. Another unit that you should focus on is Reserve Bank of India, banking in our country, functions of Reserve Bank of India, history of Reserve Bank of India, different governors of Reserve Bank of India. How does it play its part to maintain price stability in the country, to maintain economic growth of the country, to fight poverty in the country? Different banking institutions are being governed by Reserve Bank of India. How does it play that part? RBI is very important. Role of RBI governor, deputy governors, functions of Reserve Bank of India, commercial banks, other development banks. So all the banking knowledge you should have. Questions do come from banking sector as well in your economic section. Same case, my dears, you should have knowledge about balance of payment. That's a very important unit. What is the definition of balance of payment? What is current account? What are the things which fall in current account? What are the things which fall in capital account? What are differences between current account and capital account? What are visibles, invisibles? So everything, FDI, FII, those things are covered under your balance of payment. How is India's balance of payment performing right now? How was it earlier 1991? How did it remain after 1991 economic reforms? So that is very important, balance of payment. You should have good knowledge about budget. What is budget? What is developmental budget? Current budget of the country 2025, economic survey of the country that has been framed by Ministry of Finance. So have good knowledge about economic survey. What were the things in this year's economic survey? Different schemes in economic survey, different steps which were taken. What are the targets of the government in this year? Those are from current affairs. So economic survey and budget of 2025, that's very important for competitive exams. Do watch a video from Study IQ, from anywhere, any good YouTube channel, cover that, economic survey and budget. Same case, my dears, economic planning. Most of the students go through economic planning. That's very important unit. You need to have history of economic planning, from where we imitated economic planning, what were different 5-year plans from 1951 to 56, 56 to 61, 61 to 67, annual plan holiday, annual plans, when did China attack, when did Pakistan attack, Indo-Pak war, Bangladesh freedom, so their impact on our planning. 5th 5-year plan, 6th 5-year plan, what were their targets, what were the important things which happened during different 5-year plans, how did economic planning behave before economic reforms, after economic reforms, what is Hindu rate of growth, all these things are covered in economic planning. That's very important. And after economic planning, now planning commission is no more, there is Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is very, very important for competitive exams. Have good knowledge about Niti Aayog, functions of Niti Aayog, the composition of Niti Aayog, who heads it, CEO and all different indicators released by Niti Aayog, very very important. What are the different indicators which are released by Niti Aayog? वो बहुत ही important है कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जाम्स के लिए. So नीति आयोग को हमेशा नजर में रखो, इस टॉपिक को अच्छे से पढ़ो. डिफरेंट क्वेश्चंस ऑन नीति आयोग which have been asked in different exams वही आते हैं उधर. अब जब बच्चा एसआई का एग्जाम देना है, खाली सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट पढ़ के गया, पोवर्टी पढ़ के गया, फिर बोलता है पढ़ा नहीं था, नीति आयोग पे आया क्वेश्चन, इस पे आया. यही तो एरियाज है इकोनॉमिक्स के जहाँ से क्वेश्चन बनते हैं मेरे डियर्स. So economic planning, very very important unit. Niti Aayog, very very important unit. Banking, I told you already. Foreign exchange, Indian foreign exchange. Why dollar is worth 80 rupees? Why the exchange rate of dollar is very good against Indian rupee? How do we measure exchange rate of the country? What are the different terms related to exchange rate? Flexible exchange rate, floating exchange rate, fixed exchange rate, Bretton Woods system, everything. You should have knowledge about these things as well. So my dears, another unit where you need to focus is agriculture. That's a very important unit of economy. You should have good knowledge of Indian agriculture, green revolution, horticulture development, different schemes related to agriculture, zamindari system, mahalwari system, all those things, how our agriculture remained backward, its productivity fall, what were the steps which were taken for development of agriculture in our country. So you should have good knowledge about these things, irrigation as well. And other unit, my dears, I told you about taxation, I told you about inflation, I told you about economic planning, I told you about agriculture, money and banking. These are the units. Indian industry is another important unit where you should focus. Industrial policy of 1948, industrial policy of 1956, industrial policy of 1973, 1977, 1980, most important industrial policy of 1991. Once we opened up our economy, LPG model, liberalization, privatization, globalization, those are very important. 1991 year, that's very important in Indian economy. So folks there, LPG, work there, what's liberalization, what were the steps which were taken to open up our country for imports and exports, allowing FDI. So that's very important. Then another important unit where you should focus, my dears, for your preparation, case prelims or SI is your international economic organization. So you should have good knowledge about International Monetary Fund, functions of IMF, composition of IMF. That's very important. India's role in IMF. You should have good knowledge about World Bank, International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, International Development Association. So 5 wings of World Bank, International Finance Corporation, ICDS. So have good knowledge about World Bank as well. Have good knowledge about Asian Development Bank, BRICS Bank. So you should be updated about these things as well. Different indexes released by IMF, different indicators released by World Bank, which are very very important for your examination. You should have a little bit knowledge on service sector as well. So these are the hot topics where you should focus. Another core topic of economics is market. Have good knowledge about market. That's a very simple unit. Sometimes they ask a question on market, monopoly, monopolistic competition, perfect competition, features of perfect competition, features of monopoly, features of monopolistic competition, oligopoly, oligopolistic competition, shape of demand curve under oligopoly, what is Kinker demand curve, shape of demand curve under monopoly, why it is steep, shape of demand curve under perfect competition, why it is horizontal, parallel to x-axis, shape of demand curve under monopolistic competition, why it is downward falling, flatter, where the substitutes are more, where the customer is exploited, in which form of market. You should have knowledge about these things as well if you want to get a good score in your SI, if you want to get good score in your prelims. These are the areas where you should focus, and do focus on current affairs as well. What are the things which are going in Indian economy, our exports, our imports, how that is behaving right now, Indian trade, Indian foreign trade, how that is behaving. What are the areas, what are the products which we export more, what are the areas where we need imports more. So if you have knowledge about all this stuff, then you have a very good preparation for your economy section of SI or economy section of JKP SI prelims. So here on my mentor YouTube channel, on the demand of many students, sir, please do help us in economics section, because I have done masters in economics. I teach economics, Indian economy to aspirants for IAS examination, case examination. I will try my best, inshallah, to help you. I will discuss certain units of Indian economy with you. You just need to stay updated, always be here, do follow my mentor YouTube channel. I will try my best to help you in economics section, because this area needs help from a guide. It's not Indian polity, you can't cover it on your own. down. There are certain technical topics like foreign exchange, like national income, different indicators of national income, how monetary policy works, how fiscal policy works, how Reserve Bank of India does all its functioning. So I will try my best, inshallah, to help you all. I hope this video will be quite helpful to all of you. May Allah bless you all. Stay focused, stay motivated, give your best shots for your preparation. Inshallah, future gonna be yours. You will be rewarded for your efforts. May Allah bless you all. See you in my next video. Till then, take care. Bye. Allah Hafiz.